Welcome to 409's Data Dump, our monthly podcast offering technology bites for the business owner. By way of background, I'm Sarah Crum, managing partner of SKC & Co. CPAs and one of the shareholders of 409 Solutions. Today, I am very excited to bring another introduction to you for one of our 409 team members. Today, we have Trevor Liss. Welcome, Trevor.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I am terrific. We just finished one of our deadlines, so I'm incredibly happy that that's behind us and looking forward. So all is good.
Great time of year for you guys.
We've done one of these podcasts already with Ryan, and it was a bit of a getting to know you experience. We're going to do one with Mike as well, but this is your day. So we're going to jump right in with some personal information. Give us a little background. Where were you born? Do you have siblings? Where do you live now?
Yeah, 100%. So I was born Morristown Medical Center. I'm right in Morristown, northern New Jersey, like a lot of the rest of us here. And I grew up in Randolph, so right outside of there. Was kind of in northern New Jersey my whole life growing up until I got to college and I decided I wanted to be a little farther afield, and I ended up going to the University of Colorado Boulder. Which I loved it there. Back to your siblings question real quick. I have none, and if you've met me, that's a little bit obvious. Um, but I moved out to Colorado, realized I loved it out in Colorado. It's so beautiful, and that I decided to stay here and be a remote worker, which has worked out very well for me. And it's kind of been a great journey to get out here.
So love Trevor's parents. And am I right that both of your parents are only children?
Both of my parents are only children, and 3 out of my 4 grandparents were only children too, if you want to keep going up the list.
Wow, it is a diminishing family line, huh?
It really is.
That is not really good, but I guess it happens. But
You
you
know,
guys have strong genes, so really only one of the generation can sustain as much as you guys have going on.
that's what we like to believe. Yep.
Yep, I buy that. So I got to go back a little bit to Colorado. So what made you pick Colorado as your college destination?
Well, frankly, it was for its physics program, which is completely unrelated to what I do now. I got 2 degrees in college, one in astrophysics and one in computer science. The astrophysics was what I thought I really wanted to pursue until I realized that research wasn't really for me and that I enjoyed the business world far too much. But they have a fantastic physics program there and 2 actual Nobel laureates in physics, which is what brought me to the program.
Wow. Yeah, you are such a slacker.
I know.
But truly, if you don't know Trevor, he is, worth having a 5-minute or a 50-minute conversation with, because he is just so interesting. And I had the privilege, not to spoiler alert later down the line on some of these questions, but I had the privilege of interviewing Trevor when he was joining 409 as an intern, where I learned more about astrophysics and black holes and things that I never thought running an accounting firm I would need to or ever have occasion to talk about. But wealth of information and truly, truly fascinating. So I guess this is a really good lead into the next question, which is, what are your hobbies? Since you majored
100%.
in astrophysics.
Well, to completely turn it on its head there, my hobbies, I have a couple that I was kind of thinking of when we were talking about this. First is I absolutely love to watch sports. That's something that you're going to get from all 3 of us when you talk to us. I know that Ryan mentioned that he is a diehard Cowboys fan. I am a diehard Eagles fan. It makes for some very, very interesting Monday morning conversations, especially when the Eagles and the Cowboys play each other. Makes me either incredibly excited or very much dreading to join that 9 a.m. Monday conversation after they play each other. But that's something that I've always very much into. The season just started, so that's kind of taking over my whole life right now. The other hobby that I have is that I absolutely love to travel. And that's something that I've been really, really getting into a lot lately. We're trying to, my girlfriend and I were trying to get to all 50 states. She's seen 46, I've seen 43. She's a couple ahead of me there, but we're trying to get that finished up in the next couple of years. And now our new thing is that we're trying to visit all of the national parks.
Very nice. Very cool. Lots of
Yeah.
bucket list things. Are you guys going to hike the Appalachian Trail or anything?
Oh God, no. I could never, ever, ever do that. I'm more of a glamper than a camper personally. I like my creature comforts. I was in Yellowstone last week actually, and we discovered we didn't have Wi-Fi, and my world kind of fell apart for a little bit there, but I was able to get service and get everything back together.
That's hysterical. So you talked about sports, as did Ryan, being one of your interests, but talk a little bit, if you will, about the, I'm going to call it an app or a machine learning technique, whatever you might call it, that you built actually to kind of help with your fantasy football
Oh,
playing.
yep. And that was something that, very funnily enough, got me my original job with SKC as an intern was, during my first interview with Ryan, was he asked me what I had built, kind of what my coding experience was. And I had built this tool that, it was part of a class project, and then I kind of extended it out beyond there, where I was taking in a bunch of different data points from offensive line and running game play, if you're into football at all, about some more advanced stats like adjusted line yards off of scrimmage, kind of what the look of the defense was, whether it was the play was going to go left, the play was going to go right. I'm losing you guys quickly here, I can tell. But I kind of pushed that all into a machine learning model to try to get a weight versus what a line was to see if either A, I could make a better prop bet on a line than what was being stated, or like you said, for my fantasy teams. And I got to say, it worked out a lot better for me than with fantasy than it did for the betting. But it was a very fun experiment, nevertheless, especially for somebody like me who's so obsessed with data.
You have so many interesting facets about you, Trevor. I feel like we need to do multiple podcasts together.
Maybe.
What is one fact about you that people might not know?
Okay, so I'm going to turn it on its head again, just to kind of break what you might think the paradigm is. One fun fact about me that not a lot of people know is that I absolutely love heavy metal music. If you ever meet people and you're listening to music and you're like, how could anybody ever like this? Like it's just screaming and blaring drums. Me, I'm the guy that likes it. So if I'm ever not traveling, not working on my code, a lot of times I'm at like these smaller metal concerts and I love them.
Wow. So unexpected, Trevor. I'm
Yep.
getting dizzy in this conversation. So let's move a little bit towards 409 Solutions and tell us a little bit about what you do for 409 Solutions on the team.
100%. So I am our team's chief data engineer. And what that means is I am in charge of integrations and the manipulation of data from point A to point B. The kind of technical definition is that I orchestrate data pipelines. What that means basically is I see software that's over here and a software that's over here, and everything needs to end up in the middle. And I make that happen and I automate that process so that we're always getting things where they need to be. Now, just like everybody else at 409, I do wear a lot of hats. I am our website developer, I'm our system administrator, I'm our data administrator, and I do a lot of kind of, networking, reaching out stuff as I can as well. So we all kind of do a lot, but my main role is in that integrations capacity.
Very cool. I know that you built the data lake, and that in and of itself was a lot for me to get my head around. So,
Yep.
so we kind of alluded a little bit to how you got to 409 Solutions, but give us the full version of what brought you to join the team.
Absolutely. So if we roll back to when I was in college, like I said, I discovered that doing research, doing physics wasn't for me, and I wanted to be more on the computer science side of things. And not just on the computer science side of things. I like talking about this stuff. I like being able to almost sell it to explain it to other people. And that was kind of the world I wanted to enter into. And SKC, they were looking for an intern to do data analytics as Ryan was kind of starting to explore in that direction. And they needed somebody with more technical skills. And I interviewed for that and I got it. And I absolutely haven't looked back since. I absolutely tickled my brain, kind of this idea of creating dashboards, getting data into the right place, having this automated concept, but also having it be very people oriented and people centered, being able to talk to other business owners about what their information means and what changes they should be making. And we worked as an intern for a couple of years while I finished college and then transitioned straight into full time with the creation of 409.
And I will tell you, as you know, I've said this to you before, Trevor, but I was convinced you were going to go work for NASA when you graduated. So when you accepted our offer letter, I was blown away.
I was
Happily
over the
so,
moon. I
but
loved I love the opportunity to be able to be the face of the thing that I'm creating, being able to present it, being able to have the control over what it looks like. And I think that's something that a lot of people aren't able to get with their computer science degrees and their entry-level jobs. So it's something I'm very grateful for and very excited about.
And the other piece that you had said too when you first joined us full time was you were really interested in the business side of things and understanding how that integrated into technology. And you're very much also a people person, right? You are not just a technology nerd who sits behind your computer. You very much are outgoing and crave that interaction and that discussion with people and hearing their stories and understanding the data behind the stories.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one thing to be a techie person at a tech company where everybody's being techie and it's all about how techie can we possibly be. And I think it's very much another thing to be introducing that technology in a business capacity to professional services industries and other types of business owners, where it's about how do we leverage this technology to make an impact in our operations or in our businesses. And that's something where it's a far more fascinating conversation. And it's that full life cycle. It's from the ideation to the application of the technology to create a noticeable fundamental change in your business. That's really what gets me excited.
So this might be a hard question for you, but what is your favorite area of technology?
Okay, so I feel like the obvious answer would be AI, and there's going to be plenty of conversations about AI, not only I'm sure on this on in this format, but throughout everything that you're hearing right now. I'm going to say though that my favorite technology area is cloud services, and I'm going to be a little bit more specific about what I mean by that. So a lot of the data integration and data analytics work that we do is something that very large companies have been working with for a very long time. If you go and you look at a Google or you look at an Amazon or a Microsoft, they've been doing this financial reporting, financial analytics, data analytics, operational reporting. They've been doing it for a couple decades now, and they've been doing it very well. What 409 does that makes a difference is that we take this previously enterprise grade technology and we make it something that's more available for small and medium sized business owners. And the way that we do that is through leveraging cloud services. It's one thing to write a bunch of code and have it run on your own computer. It's another thing to write a bunch of code that's able to exist out on the Internet of Things and make thing A go to thing B, like we were talking about before, to get everything married together into a final product. And these cloud services, whether it's going to be Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS, or the new Google Cloud, these are the things that are empowering us to do that, to take that enterprise grade technology down to the smaller scale. And that's the niche that I've found most fascinating as we've started this 409 journey.
Very cool. Unexpected answer, but very cool.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of professionally?
Professionally, I think I would say just being at the position where I am at the age that I'm at. One thing we haven't mentioned so far is that I'm 22, almost 23 years old. So I'm very young and was very excited to get this opportunity directly out of college and be able to be in a place where I can very directly feel the impact of my efforts. I'm also very proud of getting those 2 degrees that I did mention that I had earlier, but I think I'm more proud of transitioning them into something where I, compared to my cohorts, am very, very happy with where I'm at professionally, and I'm just very proud of myself for getting there at this period of time.
Awesome. How about personally? Anything stand out that you're most proud of on the personal side?
That's always a tougher question, isn't it? I would say that the thing I'm most proud of personally is kind of, I guess, my overall life situation of where I'm at right now. I mentioned earlier how my girlfriend and I have been traveling a lot. We actually just recently celebrated our 6 year anniversary of being together, which for my age is a very, very long time. And we've been living together for a little bit over a year now, out in Colorado. And I think I'm just really proud of kind of forging out this little bit of life for myself, something that I'm really, really happy with and that I can work on and learn through.
Excellent. Good answer. It wasn't that
Thank
hard of a
you.
question. What advice do you have for somebody who may have similar interests that you had or are passionate about whatever industry or field they're in and just starting out?
Okay, I got 2 pieces of advice. So the first one is you got to talk about it. You got to talk about it to anybody and everybody that'll listen, what you're passionate about. And there's a reason for that. It's not just to talk people's heads off. It's to be able to convey your ideas to people who have incredibly varying levels of interest in the subject that you're discussing, especially if you're a technical person who wants to work in a non-technical field. The ability to have a conversation with somebody who's more or less technologically illiterate and still get the ideas that you want to get out to them, all the way through being able to talk to a peer who knows just as much, if not way more than you do in the same topic, and be able to carry on a conversation with them about whatever your technological subset is. Being able to have those conversations across the board and keep people engaged, keep people interested, keep people wanting to learn more that's going to help you more than anything else, because the people who generally know less about your specific technology sector have more power to get you out in front of more people to help you move along in whatever your dreams are. That's my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice is a lot more practical. You need to be, especially if you're going to be in the technical field, doing data, doing any sort of developer work where it's all on you, you need to be the best at Googling of anybody that you know. This is something that people find silly, but if you aren't the best person at Googling of anybody that you know, work on being better at Googling things. There's going to be plenty of times when you're working for yourself where you're going to get to a problem that's a technical problem that you have no clue what's wrong. And asking other people sometimes isn't always an option when it's just you trying to make something work. So being able to effectively search things and get the answer that you need is just an invaluable skill.
Dare I ask how someone becomes a better Googler?
You got it as soon as something pops up and somebody's like, oh, I wonder what the answer to that is. Go figure out what the answer to that is. First of all, it's fun and you learn a lot that way and you become very good at using Wikipedia, but it's a very, very good skill to be able to have the question of something, type, and boom, there's your answer right away. Not some other random website that is not the answer that I was looking for.
All right, I will accept that as how you can improve your Googling skills. All right, it's so interesting. I was not expecting that to be your advice, but very good. What are you most looking forward to in the coming year ahead?
Yeah, okay. I think the thing I'm most looking forward to is being able to get our kind of message and what we do out in front of more people. As internally as a company, we've kind of had this conversation that 2023 was all about setting the foundation internally about what we were going to do. And 2024 was all about applying that foundation and starting this cycle of growth. And that what 2025 is going to be about is really pushing that growth, having a machine that works and being able to expand it as much as we possibly can. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to. If you can't tell by now, I love talking about what we do. So the concept of being able to get in front of more people, being able to work into specific industries is something that's got me really excited.
Very cool. Well, you're going to have a lot of chances to talk because we're going to have you on other editions of the podcast. But how about one resource, whether it's a book or a podcast, a website that you would recommend?
Okay, so this is going to be for people who aren't as technical. This is a fairly technical website, but it is amazing. And that's Stack Overflow. I'm sure you probably have heard of it before, even if you've never really used it before. It's a very, very well-known website that if you've ever coded anything, you've used a million times before. Basically, it's just a forums where people ask questions about, it used to be coding, now it's basically anything, and other people who are incredibly experts on whatever their specific niche are will answer you, and then that exists on the internet forever, that question and answer. And if you're ever in a technical field or a coding thing and you run into a problem and you Google the problem, like whatever, well, I have this error message and I Google it, what you get is a bunch of Stack Overflow threads that you need to read through. But it's not just for coding anymore. They've expanded it out. There's ones for economics, there's ones for math, there's one for literature. I'm pretty sure they actually have one that people talk about accounting and stuff on there now. But if you
don't visit that one often, Trevor?
No, I can't say that I do. But if you work with a lot of office products, if you work with anything in the technological realm, it is a fantastic resource for people who have had your exact problem and somebody's given them your exact answer.
So we actually, I don't know what it's called that we use on the accounting side of it, but we refer to it as the accounting blogosphere. So we'll say, well, if we're having this issue, somebody else must be having it too. Let's see what they're saying in the blogospheres. So
and that concept crosses all industries, all technologies. Somebody's had your problem before. You just got to find it.
Right, exactly. And that's where you become a good Googler.
Exactly.
Wrap-up question that I'm just dying to know. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
That's a horrible, horrible question to ask somebody who studied physics. I'm
super intrigued what the answer is going to be.
Well, I think without descending too far into talking about fun physics topics, I would say absolutely for me, it would be time travel, because with time travel, you can break everything in very, very fun and exciting ways. My answer always used to be teleportation until my very last semester of college. I took a general relativity course, which is all about black holes and how time gets really, really, really wonky when gravity gets wonky. and it made me change my answer to time travel immediately because the paradoxes are much more fun that way. So that's how my brain works.
I'm still learning how your brain works, Trevor. But I'm so glad that you joined us today. I did get to know more about you that I didn't know, and I always enjoy chatting with you. And you being in Colorado, you come to New Jersey maybe a handful of times a year for 409, but I always love that we get to connect throughout the year. So thank you for coming to this podcast, and I look forward to future podcast episodes with you.
Of course. Thanks so much for having me, Sarah.
Awesome. Thank you for joining. And please look for our next drop of our podcast on the 15th of the following month. Have a great day.